In case you haven't heard, we hit 20,000 subscribers during last night's watch party. We want to give everybody that has ever subscribed to our channel a big, fat thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for hanging out with Smitty and I every week. But if you haven't subscribed, go on ahead and hit that sub button because now we're on the journey to 21K. Happy Victory Thursday, I guess it is. Welcome in, Celtics fans. I am your host of Celtics Today, Allie, Barefoot. Producer Smitty is right here to my right. And on today's show, we're going to break down some questions that we have about Celtics rotation and who we saw come off the bench, who we didn't, who we would have liked to seen, and some choices Mazzulla may make with the lineup. And we're also going to talk about the Miami Heat game preview because they play tomorrow night. No, unfortunately, we won't be live, but we want to tell you what we think about the game ahead of time. But first, let's talk about last night. Joe Mazzulla, we got questions, all right? You started Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, and Kristaps, while Al Horford came off the bench. But Horford was the one that told media he was not starting yesterday before the game. But then we find out the top 6 players actually had a meeting about this weeks ago, and they all talked about, hey, would you guys be willing to come off the bench, or who wants to start, or where are we at on the same page? And it looks like we got a good group of top 6 players. Because when you look at the Celtics minutes last night, of course, Jayson Tatum had 39, Kristaps and Jaylen Brown at 38, Jrue Holiday with 35, Derrick White with 32. And these are pretty standard for your starting 5 rotation to come in. I would have liked to see Derrick White just a little bit more, but I did like that Derrick White ran with the bench team as well, because it still provided he can shoot threes and still keep that defense up. Because when you do look at the bench, of course, Al Horford had 26 minutes, which is 12 less than Porzingis. Sam Hauser had 14, Pritchard had 11, Kornet had 8. If I had my way, I would have Pritchard on top of Hauser, and I would have Kornet 0, and I would have Sam Hauser about 10 minutes. He comes in and he just likes to shoot shots. But overall, I would like to have seen Horford play just a little bit more. I thought he was definitely on fire. But we didn't see Svi Mykhailiuk, Neemias Queta, or Oshae Brissett. First game of the season, I understand. Joe Mazzulla said he's going to work with the lineups and get some people reps. But if Queta's on the bench and you see Luke Kornet is sucking the way Kornet does, and you still don't put him in, I'm going to be pissed. Personally, I think the Neemias Queta should be in more than Luke Kornet. You guys know I'm a broken record at this point. But Mazzulla has said this is not going to be the starting lineup forever and ever. But it looks like Mazzulla's not really trusting the bench that much, considering Pritchard got 11, Hauser got 14, and Kornet got 8. And those were the only people from the bench, if you don't include Al Horford, which I don't, that actually got playing time. But that was a tough game towards the fourth quarter. It was a 10-point lead majority of the game, Celtics on top over the Knicks. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses Hauser and Kornet, and I'm intrigued to see when Pritchard's going to get more time than Hauser, because I think he definitely earned it. But did you know the Celtics were -1 in just 8 minutes played by Luke Kornet? He can't rebound, can't shoot, and he certainly can't defend. If you've seen Luke Kornet play, he dribbles once or twice, picks up the ball, and immediately is looking for an outlet pass. As a big, you should be the outlet pass. Why are you standing at the free throw line not knowing what to do with the ball in your hands? Neemias Queta is at least bigger than Kornet, and he's more aggressive. Forget the stats. That's what I see physical-wise. All right, I'm not going to rant about Kornet that much. I just want you guys to know. We see it too. I will give Pritchard some praise because he did come in and make 2 clutch free throws. He made a nice mid-range jumper when the Celtics lead was a little bit too close against the New York Knicks. So I understand preseason P is called preseason P for a reason. He's not going to put up the same numbers he's going to put up in the preseason and the regular season. But he came in and he did his job. That's why I want to see Pritchard have more time than Hauser moving forward. But I still think the big question here is the backup center. Who do you guys want to start? Type Luke, not start, but play as backup center. Type LK for Luke Kornet. Type NQ for Neemias Queta. I'm not even going to answer this one. You guys know how I feel, but I want to hear from you guys. Type LK, Luke Kornet, NQ, Neemias Queta. Because something needs to change at this point. And I know Mazzulla said there's no set starters, which is totally fine. You've got so many lineups to work with here. And he said that time and time again. I do know Brown, Porzingis, Tatum will, based on the first performance, will consistently be in the lineup. Whether or not they use Al Horford and Derrick White is, I think, where Joe Mazzulla will get a little shifty here. But according to Marc D'Amico, he said, Derrick White says the meeting between the top 6 Celtics, which did happen a few weeks ago, like we said, occurred about a week ago. Jayson Tatum pulled him into a room, and each player made it clear that they're okay coming off the bench for betterment of the team. White suggested starting lineups may change based upon matchups. This is music to my ears. There is zero drama on the team. Even Al Horford said, I am totally fine coming off the bench and during last night's game. You need selfless basketball players. And to have 6 of them, you're on the right track. Brian Robb also tweeted, Derrick White says the Celtics' top 6 had their meeting about the starting 5 last week. White said, I voted for JT to come off the bench. Okay, so Derrick White's got jokes now. He shaves off Fall's head now. He's a comedian. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's good to know that this shows that they're all good. They're all super tight. They're all friends. They understand this is bigger than them. This is bigger than their stats. And Tatum even agreed. He said, I told them 1 game this season, I'm coming off the bench. Can I request something, though? Can it just not be against a contender? Can you do that against, like, the Rockets or somebody like that? Just you can joke, but don't scare me like that. Come on. But overall, it does sound like the top 6 are pretty tight. And this is going to be a very, very good Boston Celtics team if you have 6 players that are going to be selfless and they just want to win. And that's what they should be doing. They should be winning. So the bottom line is this. It's going to take time for the team to get adjusted and get into rotation. And even Joe Mazzulla said 20, 30 games. Don't get used to a set lineup. It's going to be based off matchups. You got to figure out what works and what doesn't. So don't be nervous that only about 8 or 9 players played last night for the Celtics. There's still more. There's still 14 players on a roster. Mazzulla's going to work them in at some point. I believe it. But did you guys like the starting lineup versus the New York Knicks? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I do. I think you should have gone with a smaller backcourt against a very offensive-heavy New York Knicks. So I say yes. But I want to hear from you guys. Type Y for yes, type N for no. And then we're going to do a nice little preview of the Miami Heat. Yes, we're bringing you guys back all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to unpack what we think is going to happen on Friday, but you guys already know I got to talk about Prize Picks. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app. I've had so much fun earning up to 25 times my money in football season, and now I get to do it in the basketball season. They even have a specials league. It's a league created specifically for combo projections that include 2 players or more from different sports or leagues. For example, you can do LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3 points made and receptions. I actually did this the other night. I had Austin Reeves making more than 1.5 3-point shots, and I had Brock Purdy throwing more than 1.5 touchdown passes. Thanks to Brock Purdy, he only hit 1. But these are my picks heading into tonight's games. I have Giannis scoring more than 39 points, Damian Lillard more than 18.5 points, Kevin Durant less than 11 made field goals, and D'Angelo Russell more than 1.5 free throws made. Why not? He goes to the line a lot. These are my picks. I want to see yours. You guys can test out your skills in football and in basketball and a number of other sports. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Now we got to talk about the Heat. The stinking Miami Heat, because the Boston Celtics do play them on a Friday, and it's going to be a team effort. I want to say that this is going to be an easy dub, but ultimately it's not going to be. So we did give a little keys to the game. Smitty and I did break this down to help see what the Celtics need to do heading into the rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals. First and foremost, don't give up extra possessions. You just can't. The Celtics have surrendered 17 offensive rebounds to the Knicks. You can't have that when you're going up against big guys now. Mitchell Robinson was in foul trouble for the New York Knicks when we played them 2 nights ago. That was big for the Boston Celtics. Now that you've got Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford, you're going up against Bam Adebayo and Kevin Love. These guys are going to take advantage if not everybody is crashing. And of course, not everybody crashed at once, but we saw Derrick White down in the paint a lot on Wednesday. We saw Jrue Holiday down in the paint a lot as well. I want to see these guys constantly crashing because, like every game, Jayson Tatum was the leading rebounder on Wednesday night's match versus the New York Knicks, which is fine. I'm not saying that's bad. But now you got Porzingis, who does linger around the perimeter a lot, so I know he's mobile. You got Al Horford as well. 11 rebounds. Tatum has gotten a lot more muscular in the offseason. He can take those bodies down low now, but ultimately, you're going to have to rebound more than usual against Bam Adebayo and Kevin Love, because that's primarily what they're there to do. Our bigs, they can also shoot more than Kevin Love and Bam can. So that's going to be a tough one, but overall, it's going to take a team effort. Like I said, not everybody crash at once, but you can definitely help out JT a little bit in that area. While you're doing that, you're going to have to contain Jimmy Butler. And I know you guys see this photo right here. If you haven't seen his roster picture, go look at it for a nice laugh, because that shit geeks me out every single time. You got to contain Butler. We've seen in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's not playoff Jimmy just yet, but he's got kind of like a vendetta against the Celtics. And for some reason, he just likes to go off. I don't blame you. The Celtics are one of the best teams in the league. Why would you not want to show out against the Celtics? But the Celtics have to be ready for it and take advantage, because on opening night, Jimmy Butler did drop 19 points, 13 rebounds, which is nuts, 4 assists, but he went 6 for 18 from the field. So it looks like he did better on the three-point line, but overall, you're going to have to be aggressive when you're going up against Jimmy. Be smart, but be aggressive, because you're going to want to have to take advantage of Jimmy Butler being just as aggressive as you are. He's going to be looking to avenge his shooting stats. He truly is. He's not going to go 6 for 18 again. I promise you that. Jimmy Butler knows how to shoot, so you need to adjust and know how to defend him, because Jimmy Butler comes to play when he plays the Celtics. I would too. The third, but certainly not the least, the pressure to basketball. You're going to have to give a lot of pressure, especially around the perimeter. This one's going to be a little bit different for the New York Knicks, as I think they have a lot of ball handlers on their squad. When you look at the Miami Heat, past Kyle Lowry, you don't really have ball handlers. You got some shooters. Tyler Herro is more of a catch and shoot kind of guy. Lowry's kind of the only point guard the true point guard that they have. Drew Smith, he stinks. Jamie Jaquez is probably not even going to get in the game. So I would just work on defending Kyle Lowry as smart as you can and just creating pressure, because pressure creates turnovers for the Miami Heat. They've proven it time and time again. They cannot handle pressure well, and they will put the ball in somebody else's hand, preferably somebody in a green jersey, if you keep that pressure up. So, Smitty and I talked about this. We saw some full court press in the preseason a little bit at the end of the New York Knicks game. Why not do it again? Why not start straight from the baseline to baseline and attack Kyle Lowry and cut off his resources? I guarantee you, if you put a double team pressure, full court press, Kyle Lowry return it over more than 2 or 3 times. 100%. Because like Smitty wrote this, Miami's ball handlers stink. He's not wrong. Detroit forced just 7 turnovers versus Miami, but I'll take the Celtics defense over Detroit's defense. I think the Celtics would be a lot more aggressive. I think they can create more pressures, more turnovers, and that's ultimately what they're going to have to do, because this is going to be a tough game. I may break it down and make it seem like we've got this in the bag, but we beat the Knicks by 4. They have to ultimately, I didn't put this on the list, but just want to say it out there for good measures. You got to close. You can't keep giving up these leads in the fourth quarter and giving momentum to the other team. This was a problem last season, and it was a problem in the first game of this year. You got to keep the 10-point lead that you have throughout the game, and you got to close. But overall, these are our 3 keys to the game. Don't give up extra possessions, contain Jimmy Butler, and pressure the basketball. Of course, the Boston Celtics do take on the Miami Heat on Friday, which is going to be tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a good matchup, and ultimately, it's going to be a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals. This is kind of crazy, though. 7.5 favorites. That says a lot about the Boston Celtics, because the Heat are not people to be slept on. Go on ahead and predict the Celtics versus Heat score down in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I think this can be a high-scoring game for the Boston Celtics. They're really starting to get their feet set, and get into the 2023-24 NBA regular season. While you're at it, hit that sub button for me as we're on our journey now to 21K. We're going to provide you with everything you need to know about the Boston Celtics right here on Celtics Today.